You're watching News 12 in high definition with breaking news.
And good evening, I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Meredith Anderson. Glascock County's EMA Director tells News 12 a tornado has touched down in and around Gibson and the damage is extensive.
I want to get right to News 12's Ryan Houston. He joins us live from a church in Gibson, Georgia, or rather what's left of a church there. Ryan.
That's right. We are live in Glascock County right now, and I'm actually standing inside what used to be the fellowship hall for Magnolia Baptist Church. As you can see, right now officials are telling us that they believe that a severe thunderstorm did all this. You can see brick is everywhere, the chairs to the tables, to where we're told they actually learned about the Bible and would spend time fellowshipping with each other. If you would come a little bit closer, this is actually the fellowship hall wall. It reads Towner Fellowship Hall, November 27th, 1991. We're told that the whole roof is gone. It's going to take a lot for this family to actually rebuild. And I'm joined now with the Deputy Director, EMA Director, Mr. Mike Lyons. What's going on so far?
Well, so far we got a call around 7:21 tonight that had some damage from wind on one of these residences just behind us. About 6 residences have been damaged. This is the most severe. We have a couple mobile homes that actually came off their foundation. But tomorrow we can do more as far as determining whether it was a tornado or what it was. We're not really sure at this time.
Right now we know that 4 other homes are damaged. More than 20 are still without power. Do you know what the effort is in trying to get those people restored with power?
I know we're missing some poles. Jefferson Energy's on site working on replacing those poles. I was told about 4 hours, so that's what we're going on right now.
So right now, just a lot of damage, but what could have happened if this would have been Wednesday night around 7 o'clock on a church night?
Quite a few people go to church here, and they could have possibly been in this area we're in or in the main church. We're just glad it was a Tuesday night rather than a Wednesday.
Right, they can always rebuild.
Luckily, no one's been hurt, not in the church, not in any of the other residences. Right now, they're currently in one of our local shelters preparing for the Red Cross to come and provide them somewhere to stay tonight.
Okay. As you heard it there, officials are waiting for daylight. As you can see, it's pretty dark. They're waiting for daylight to actually determine whether this was just a severe thunderstorm or tornado. Live in Glascock County, I'm Ryan Houston, News 12.
All right, thanks for that, Ryan. And certainly good news that there are no reports of injuries because, wow, this could have been so much worse. But again, we want to remind you, Glascock County's EMA Director believes this was the work of a tornado, but we won't get official word from the National Weather Service until at least tomorrow.
Right, but tonight we can tell you Chief Meteorologist Shane Butler was able to capture an image on radar as that storm blew through. And Shane, what does that image tell us?
Well, it could have been some rotation in that particular thunderstorm that could have led to a tornado. The damage is kind of seeming that way, but they'll send a crew out there tomorrow to take a look. We were tracking that storm way back in the early evening. Take a look at it. We'll show you here as you look at the actual radar image out toward the west. You can see thunderstorm or at least lightning strikes just to the east of Eatonton, and you'll see those. But look at Gibson. We'll highlight it for you. That storm still off toward the west at 6:26 tonight, and as it was moving toward the east, it continued to move toward the Gibson area. So we can get you in a little closer here. Show you the storm still at around 6:41. It is still off toward the west of Gibson. It's around Mayfield, but watch as the storm progresses toward the east. This is around 6:54 tonight. The storm knocking on the door to Gibson, and we can already see just south of Gibson there may be a notch developing in the line. As we get a little closer in there, you'll be able to see we've got it highlighted over Gibson. That's where we notice the notch that forms, and where we see that along a squall line like this, that's an indication there could be some rotation along a thunder or a tornadic indication there along a squall line like this. So as that storm was continuing to move toward the east on toward 714, that storm was already east of Gibson and starting to move away, but still strong over toward Rennes. Surprised we don't have some damage off toward the north of Rennes, but for the most part, it looks as though the Weather Service will go out there tomorrow. The rating scale here, EF1 to EF2 is more than likely if this is classified as a tornado. Just from the damage that I've seen, the mobile homes damage, the church damage, the roofs blown off, it's going to be rated somewhere there between an EF1 or an EF2, guys. But the good news is tonight, things are settling down, and we've got improving weather on the way. We'll show you that a little bit later on, guys.
Thanks a lot, Shane. And again, the good news, no reports of any injuries tonight, although damage looks to be pretty extensive around Gibson.
And we'll get a much better idea of that damage when the sun comes up. Meanwhile, a major update tonight to a story we've continued to follow for you in Aiken County. Plans to bring the Green Jackets across the river could have died tonight. Right, the Aiken County Council voting to deny the financing for the project to develop North Augusta's riverfront. News 12's Chad Mills, the only TV reporter in that meeting. So Chad, what is next?
Well, Richard, that's the $150 million question right now. You could say the vote tonight to deny this project literally came out of left field. Councilwoman Kathy Rawls moved to deny the financing, which would divert tax revenue from not just North Augusta, but the school district and the county too. 3 council members joined in. 3 supported the TIF and 1 abstained. Those against it argued that the county doesn't have enough money to spend $500,000 a year for 30 years on this project. Others said they don't agree with TIF financing in the first place, even for a project they say would be good. As you can see, North Augusta City Manager Todd Glover appeared visibly upset in the crowd. A couple city council members left unhappy too.
Is the project dead? I hope not. I hope we'll look at it and see if there's any way we can make it work. But this certainly puts a strain on us.
Councilman Scott Singer and others said they would support the deal if certain changes are made. Right now, tax rates in the TIF are frozen at 1996 levels. They want that updated to 2012 levels. But North Augusta's deadline is Tuesday, March 18th. That means Aiken County would have to hold a special meeting before then. McDowell doesn't know if that's possible, and he doesn't know if the city can make those changes to the deal to satisfy council either. He says the numbers they're working with are very tight, Richard, so this project could be in serious jeopardy.
It's a vote that will surprise a lot of people. Thanks for the update there, Chad.
Across the river tonight, 3 Augusta commissioners are officially censured. Grady Smith is the only person who has a company that is still doing business with the city of Augusta. Augusta commissioners have given him 30 days to get into compliance with the current code.
He's got just a little bit of leeway in terms of being able to disassociate himself from this contract or possibly resign from this commission.
So after these 30 days, we find out if he would rather be a commissioner or a businessman.
Also tonight, an officer with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office has been fired. Staff Sergeant David Kitchens no longer working for the Sheriff's Office after a citizen told officials Kitchens was soliciting business for a personal injury attorney while he was on duty. The 48-year-old is charged with violation of oath of office and computer theft. Kitchens worked with the Sheriff's Office since 1994. He worked for the Burke County Sheriff's Office for 11 years before that.
Today we find out if Columbia County Sheriff Clay Whittle will see a bump in his paycheck. Columbia County Commissioners voted to or not to give the sheriff a raise at tonight's meeting. The sheriff's salary will go to $137,760 a year. So he did get that raise. They did vote it in. He used to pocket around $117,000. If you remember, Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree just got a pay raise too. His salary a little more than $126,000 now.
Budget cuts are hitting close to home for thousands of people at Savannah Riverside. SRNS announcing cuts to their employees. In a letter to Governor Nikki Haley, SRS will see cuts to contractors equaling $107 million. And with the funding being sliced away, more than 2,000 employees will see their hours cut way back. Others could be laid off as early as April 1st.
Congressman Joe Wilson responded to the furloughs too. He says he's committed to try to resolve the issue and swears to try to protect the Savannah River site.
Also tonight, the dark history of the Civil War being brought to light as a team from Georgia Southern continues digging up artifacts from the old prison camp in Millen. But
finding the site back in 2010 was just the first chapter to this story. Now the project historian has written the rest. As News 12's Christy Etheridge reports, his new book marks the first full-length, fully documented history of that prison.
I started doing research and I realized that there was a story to tell, but it really had never been told.
Years of history between these pages tells the story of Camp Lawton, an old Union prison camp from the Civil War.
The reason I think this has attracted attention, the whole Camp Lawton story has attracted attention, it's new. I mean, how many books have been written about the Battle of Gettysburg, Battle of Antietam?
The site was discovered back in 2010, and hundreds of new artifacts have been unearthed since. Durden isn't the only one glad the book is attracting attention.
I hope it will boost our tourism and bring more interest in development into our area, which would in turn bring jobs.
Something the small town of Millen desperately needs.
We have been very high on the unemployment list, in the state for the last several years. We're number 3 right now, I think.
He hopes the book will pique some interest in traveling to the town, and renovating this building into a museum to display the artifacts will give them a place to visit.
This summer, I've been told in June, they hope to open the museum and that collection will be on display.
Durden says his book is already bringing people in.
I had a person visit my class one day who was a descendant, of one of the POWs at Camp Lawton, and he had come, he was out of state to see the exhibit. We're in the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. The Civil War is the eternally fascinating subject in American history.
The book may be finished, but the story continues as crews keep digging up the past. In Millen, Christy Etheridge, News 12.
Durden says digging at the site at Magnolia Springs outside Millen will probably continue for years. After 2 years of discovery, they've only looked at about 1% of what could be found there.
So to come on News 12 at 11, News 12 still out in Gibson right now, talking to folks out there affected by a possible tornado. We're going to go back to that site right after this quick break.
And weather-wise for tomorrow, here you go. The numbers, average high 67, not going to make that. A cooler, breezy day across the area, but a dry day. In the rain bucket today, we picked up just over 3/10 of an inch, and it looks like a dry pattern settling in. Details coming up.
You're watching News 12 at 11 o'clock in high definition with Richard Rogers, Meredith Anderson, Chief Meteorologist Shane Butler, and Kevin Feigl, Sports. Your hour-by-hour forecast with live triple Doppler radar.
No doubt earlier a stormy night across Georgia, Carolina, but this storm system has rapidly moved off toward the east, and in its wake it is drying. There's the last little bit of the rain that came through earlier, but we know the strong storms that worked through parts of Glascock County and through the Gibson area. Weather Service will be dispatched out there, more than likely to go take a look at that during the day tomorrow to see what we had. Maybe that was either strong straight-line damaging winds or possibly tornadic winds with that particular thunderstorm that moved through. But the good news is tonight everything is all clear for us. No problems weather-wise for at least any storms, but that's not the case up to the north. Take a look at this. This thing's spinning around, area of low pressure dragging the front through our area, but all this moisture and cold air is advancing toward parts of the Virginias, the mid-Atlantic region. They're going to deal with some snow as we head through the day tomorrow. It's going to be a snowy day through parts of Roanoke, Virginia, through Lynchburg, right on up through Charlottesville, all the way to the nation's capital. Could be a big-time storm system up there for them to deal with next few days. And if you're thinking about traveling north and eastward up toward the D.C. area, at least for flight plans for tomorrow, may just want to check ahead before you start heading off that way. All right, here's the numbers right now into the lower 50s. Winds, they're strong out of the west at around 17, 15 miles per hour. Get used to it. The wind's going to stay strong as we go through the day tomorrow. We're drying out. Dew points are dropping off into the 30s, and the cold air, look at it. It's just up here over parts of Chattanooga, Birmingham. It's coming in behind the front, so we're still into the 50s, but as the front moves on south and eastward, here comes the colder air as we head through tonight. That's going to do it for the rain, but there is some cold air behind this, and that'll be some snow up into parts of North Georgia. On up and through the Smoky Mountain areas, we'll see some of that. We'll have high pressure building in during the day tomorrow, and more than likely we'll see a few clouds here and there as this thing works off toward the east. What's going to happen is the storm system will lift north and eastward, but wraparound moisture will come in, so we'll see some spotty clouds throughout that breezy day tomorrow. And as we head through the afternoon, we'll continue that trend right on through 5 o'clock. But by Thursday, we should see that whole system moving north and eastward. The ridge really digs in, so that'll provide us lots of sunshine for our Thursday, and it looks like that trend's going to continue right on into the upcoming weekend. So here's how the numbers are going to go for you early on your Wednesday at 7 o'clock. How about 45 Washington, southward into Waynesboro, heading towards Sylvania as well. Everybody kind of hovering there. Not going to be quite as cold because the winds will be up overnight. As we head through the day tomorrow around noontime, 52 Washington as well as Augusta heading southward to Sylvania at around 55, and we're only going to top out into those mid and upper 50s for highs during the day tomorrow. So definitely a strong wind will be a factor throughout the day, and even with temperatures in the 50s, it may feel a little colder with those winds getting you out there. So then overnight, skies will be partly cloudy, temperature 4 low around 45, the wind strong out of the south and west at 9 to 18 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll call it skies mixed with sun and clouds, but there'll be more sun at times, but then those clouds will rotate through here as well. The high temperature again in the mid 50s. It's a cool windy day. Those winds will be westerly at around 12 to 22 miles per hour, and gusting could be up there around 30, 35 mile per hour winds. Area area of lakes, there is a lake wind advisory, so if you don't have to get out there, I wouldn't advise it because of the strong winds throughout the day tomorrow. And then we'll head on through the period, noticing dry conditions with sunshine all the way through Friday. Daytime highs climbing there, overnight lows. They'll be chilly down around the freezing mark. But hey, we head into the upcoming weekend and check this out. We've got sunshine, upper 60s on Saturday, around 70 on Sunday. Don't forget to turn your clocks ahead 1 hour Saturday night before going to bed. And then we get into Monday and Tuesday. We'll bring back showers, but look at those temperatures. They're still mild. Upper 60s to mid 70s, guys.
All right, thanks for that, Shane. Coming up on News 12, Hugo Chavez wasn't the most loved Venezuelan president, and now we look back on his life after we find out about his death. We will have to wait until the sun comes up to know exactly how much damage tonight's possible tornado caused in Glascock County.
Right, but so far it looks like Magnolia Baptist Church just outside Gibson has some of the most extensive damage. That's where News 12's Ryan Houston is right now. Let's check back in for a live update from there. Ryan.
That's right. We are live in Glascock County, and I'm still here at the Magnolia Baptist Church. I'm standing at what used to be called the Fellowship Hall. Right now, we're told a severe thunderstorm with high winds did all this damage. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, the roof is gone. The walls are gone. This church is totally destroyed. It's going to take this family months and weeks to recover from this. Right now we're told that there are no injuries. At least 4 other homes are damaged and more than 20 are still without power. You can see here brick and also this Bible here, which is just a testament to how powerful this thing was. Right now I'm joined with the director, Mr. Lyons. What can you tell me so far about what's being done to help those in need?
Well, we've got a shelter down in town that's open. The Red Cross, the Augusta chapter, they've made it down. They're working with those folks, trying to get them somewhere to go for the night. Just waiting on daylight so we can assess the damage and see what we got.
Being that this is a church, if this would have been tomorrow night, Wednesday night is a huge night for Bible study. Do you think that somebody could survive all this?
There definitely would have been some people hurt. Luckily, there was no one hurt because no one was at the church at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lyons. Like he said, they are waiting for daylight so they can finish assessing the situation to determine, was this a thunderstorm or was it a tornado? Live in Glascock County, I'm Ryan Houston, News 12.
Big cleanup going on there tomorrow, Ryan. Thanks. You're looking now. Venezuela's vice president releasing some surprising news today. President Hugo Chavez, dead at the age of 58. When he was 38, he led a military coup to unseat the president. It failed. Chavez was thrown in jail, but years later, as a politician, he campaigned to close the gap between the poor and the wealthy oil executives. In 1998, elected president, and they say he is now dead. Sports is on the way. A trying season for Augusta's Riverhawks rolls on.
Yeah, talk about trying. We've been talking about Augusta's team losing its home, but that's just the latest in a series of, well, unfortunate events. They fired their coach shortly after the season started and have struggled all year. Now they're forced to finish the season with most of their fans locked out. Jakeson next with highlights from the Hawks in their home and the rest of the day's sports next.
When it rains, it pours, and in this case, the rainwater may as well be the Riverhawks' melted home ice. Augusta's hockey team has gone through a trying season, and tonight they headed down the road to their much smaller temporary home, the Augusta Ice Sports Center. The Riverhawks season ticket holders found their new seats in the smaller arena. The Ice Bears, though, were on the power play here. Nice stop by Robbie Moss, but the rebound will get in. That was David Seagal, making it 2-0. Knoxville at that point. Augusta on the attack. Matt Offrey sends it in. That one was deflected high and over the net. Then sending one in from the blue line. That one won't get past the goalie either. Turning them away throughout the first period. How about Kyle Watson in front of the net? Stoned once again. Riverhawks fall in this one in a high-scoring contest. 4-3 was the final. The USC Aiken men's basketball team hasn't seen the problems the Riverhawks have, and that's one reason they won the Peach Belt regular season championship. And today, there were many more awards than that. For the first time since 2008, the Pacers have the PBC Player of the Year And point guard Raymond Nelson, the senior, broke USC Aiken career records for both steals and assists this season and has been the on and off court leader of this team. Joining him with the top honor is head coach Vince Alexander, now coach of the year in back-to-back seasons. That honor proves that he can coach, but he gives the credit to his newly crowned player of the year.
It's great to have a leader like that, who's been through it for 4 years. And, he's been in in 3 of his 4 years, he's been in a, NCAA tournament. He's been in the conference. He's won a conference tournament championship. He's won 2 conference championships. So, he knows what he needs to do.
Other Pacers on the list: Paul Larson, second team; Ron Zimmerman, third team. Augusta State got 1 honor on the men's side. Ryan Weems is a third team selection. The Augusta State women made huge strides this year, winning the PBC East Division, and no shock, head coach Nate Teemer gets the credit, winning Women's Coach of the Year. Teemer inherited a 1-win team his first year. Now they're ranked 24th in the nation. If you ask him, it's not about the awards, it's about this week's conference tournament. And Teemer's excited to see his team go in as the favorite for the first time in his young tenure.
It's a nice feeling to go in and actually be the favorite team in the first round, and it's something I think our girls are embracing, and I think they're actually enjoying it. And I think we've been through a lot of different situations. The girls have handled pretty much most of them well, and the ones that we haven't, I think we've learned from them. So I think we can just take all that into the conference tournament.
2 of Teemer's players take home honors. Point guard Tanchell Hollingsworth is second team. Laney product Taylor Ayers is on the third squad. Over at USC Aiken, senior Daniela Torilo nabbed a first team nod, and Brittany Hill joins on the second team. A little more college basketball. Senior night at Clemson tonight. Tigers were hosting Boston College. First half, Milton Jennings hitting the long jumper. Clemson opened on a 7-0 run in this one. And how about Laney's Rod Hall now, throwing it down to Devin Booker, who slams it home 18-16. Clemson the advantage. Hall going to provide again here in the second half to DeMarcus Harrison, who drops the triple. Clemson leading by 3 at that point, down 6 late though. Hall drives for the layup, but Clemson falls 68-61. The Augusta State and Payne baseball teams started the year with big expectations that they haven't completely lived up to so far. Today they met on the diamond, both trying to get a momentum boost to carry them toward their goals. It was a windy day down at Jaguars Field, 3-3 in the third. Payne's Chris Hallett getting it done on the mound, striking out Seth Foster swinging, but then the Jags got it going. A wild pitch from Hallett is coming on your way. Greenbrier's Hunter Booz, the freshman, coming in from third. He would score. That made it 4-3. ASU would end up winning the game. 12-6 was the final. The third-ranked USC Aiken golf team is off to a great start in the spring season, finishing second in the Richard Rendleman Invitational. Pacers led by 7 heading into the final round, but settled for a runner-up finish in the field. JP Solis, the lead Pacer, finishing tied for 12th.
Coming up on News 12 and 11, a Georgia police officer saves a man's life.
But this one was caught on camera. We'll see how he did it next.
A Georgia woman in Forest Park says a police officer saved her son's life after he stopped breathing, and it's all caught on surveillance video. The man apparently had a seizure in the car, stopped breathing.
His mother saw a police officer and pulled him out of the car. The police officer brought him inside, and as you can see on this surveillance video, started performing CPR. That man is now doing okay.
Wow, you hear about it happening, but to have it caught on camera like that, just amazing.
Wow.
What a
That's
lifesaver.
pretty cool. Yeah. All right, weather-wise for us, improving conditions on the way. Sunshine back tomorrow, but a windy day, highs only in the mid-50s. Hey, look at your weekend, upper 60s to around 70. And again, don't forget to turn that clock ahead before going to bed Saturday night.
We won't forget. That's it for News 12 at 11.
Thanks for staying up with us.